So I wanted to show how you could just take any old room in your house and turn it into a podcast studio, essentially. Something that looks presentable and clean and nice. I was racking my brain just trying to figure out how to make this space feel big and look like a podcast is going on in here. So the first thing that I did is I brought this desk out here in the middle. And what that does is it allows me to, put two chairs, one on each side of it, almost as if there's actually two people here having a real conversation instead of just me. You know what? Actually. Okay, there we go. Now I've got two people in here. Bart or Bert, or I can't remember what we named this bear, has joined me today. So I brought this table out in the middle. It allows one person to sit on each side of it. Give some separation from the background still. I'm still like 4 or 5 feet away from the back wall. And then I think it's the most creative, in my opinion, one of the most creative uses of this room, because it's literally, that camera is pushed up against that wall as far as it'll go. This camera is pushed up as far up against that wall as it'll go. And both ways, both this way for that camera, and then behind me this way for that one, I've got separation from the background, which is the number one thing you want. You never want to put somebody up against the wall. The second thing that I did is I set up my wide shot. And so I'm on a 16 millimeter right now, Canon R5C. And then the next thing, once I figured out the wide shot, once I figured out like where I was going to be and the table was going to be, I just put some simple set design in place. I got this fake plant here that really helps fill out that wall that is just empty without it. Just put a gimbal on the end of the table here. Behind me, there is, I don't know if you can see it on that one, maybe not. I have the Rodecaster Pro 2 or whatever I'm recording this into. I just kind of put some headphones like hanging from my shelf. Things that I use all the time, I just strategically set them where they are so that it's not too clean or cluttered. Just makes sense. And then once I got everything in place as far as physical set design, myself, our beautiful talent here today, I figured out the lighting. I just have two Amaran lights. One's pointing at me, one's pointing at Bert there. And in an ideal world, I would have been able to backlight. And the only problem is, first off, I don't even know if these soft boxes would have fit back here. And second off, you would have been able to see everything. The light stands that are holding them up, the cords that are running up the light stands, perhaps even the bottom of the soft boxes. So given a bigger space, of course, I would have gone for the backlighting option. Backlighting just looks so much better. And honestly, when you backlight a podcast, woo! Oh, it's so clean. But in this situation, I'm happy with the way that the lights turned out. Right back here, I've just got a little tube light underneath the table. It's spilling a little bit of light on that back wall. Separates, first off, the plant from the back wall so that the plant isn't just falling into darkness, but that it also just kind of separates everything. It just kind of like gives some depth to this whole room. I say whole room because it's, 90 square feet? It's very small. And then after that tube light, all we got left is just this little practical light behind me. It was like $30 on Amazon. It's been a great light. I love it. And then once I had everything else figured out, I did what was actually the most important thing for podcasting, which is audio. You need to make sure your audio is dialed, or else it's not really a podcast if your audio is crappy. That's for YouTube videos. People get away with it all the time. Crappy audio on YouTube videos. But on a podcast, really, you should focus on the audio before the video. But if you do want my personal opinion, I think that video is necessary for all podcasts in 2025. I just do. It's one thing to just hear somebody speak, but when you can watch them, it just brings a whole different level to it. I might be biased because I'm a filmmaker. Visuals is the world that I come from, and visual storytelling is just so powerful and so key. That's my opinion. I'm going to die on that hill. Video should always be incorporated into podcasts. Every single time. There shouldn't be a podcast without video anymore. Going back to audio. You got the Rode PodMic USB here, just recording into the Rodecaster Pro 2 back there. And then actually, once you get into these higher end podcasts, a lot of the times they'll record two sources of audio. And that's what I've got here. So I've got, first off, this podcast microphone here. And then I've just got a shotgun boom mic. Just in case these microphones don't work out, we've got a backup. And actually, I've seen podcasts where they don't use podcasting microphones. They use like these boom mics so that they can just keep everything out of the frame. That also, it breeds a different kind of level of authenticity. You can really make it your own. You can turn anything into whatever you want. The only rule is that you make it what you want. And I'm going to leave that with you in the name. I'm just kidding. It feels like a church talk. Yeah, that I feel like I've covered this. Thank you for joining me today, Bert. It's been a pleasure to have you. I'll catch you next time.